Hello everyone, it's Diva Carla, Cosmic Crone, and we are here for the Virgo New Moon Divine Feminine Astrology reading. And I realized that my tripod is set up so that if I happen to not pay attention, I'm going to kick it, which means I get to show you my studio while I rearrange things. Yeah, that is a little better. This tripod has legs. Ooh, I'm standing up because, hi Corinne, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Yeah, I did some work yesterday that makes my back a little sore. Hi. So I'm going to stand up and dance my way through this extraordinary astrology reading because this reading, the sky right now, is full of the priestess. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the basics. Let's just roll right into this. The new moon, the Virgo new moon, is happening starting. It's happening August 30th. That's Friday morning here in Eastern United States, 6:37 a.m. where I live up in northern New England, and that is happening at. Where are we? We are at 6 degrees 47 of Virgo, and at barely a degree away is Mars. So this new moon is happening conjunct Mars. The next day, later that day, the moon will transit Mars, pass Mars by in a conjunction, heading towards Venus, and then the sun the next day will be in an exact conjunction to Mars. So, and everybody, well, Mars and Venus just had a conjunction, and the sun will be moving to conjunct Venus, as will the moon, and everything's touching Venus. Hi, Heather, good to see you. And so over there, clustered in the first half of Virgo, the moon, the sun, Mars, and Venus. And they are in aspect, they're actually opposite Nessus and Lilith over in Pisces. So that's the new action action right there. And I just want to make note of this because as I'm reading this, I realize Venus on Friday morning at the new moon will be transiting my natal moon in Virgo, my relationship house, my 7th house. So that feels hot to me. And I'm going to plan my day. And well, the previous night, I have a hot date with Charlie. We're going to see Bella Fleck and Abigail at Washburn. Banjos. I think banjos are so sexy. So I'm on it. I'm on it with Venus conjunct my Virgo moon. So how will you use that energy? Just we're going to settle in. We've got Venus, Mars, Sun, and Moon all together. We have a pretty tight balance of masculine and feminine. The masculine igniting, the most delicious, emotional, erotic, abundant aspects of the feminine. That is wherever this new moon falls in your personal chart, that you go for whatever it is you want. It's highly creative, highly manifesting. Things come together, ignite, and you can get something started with pretty good confidence that it's going to work out well. So that's what I'm doing with my special personal relationship astrology in this second 7th house of Virgo for me personally. What else? The main thing that I'm excited about in this chart, though, is the aspect that has really inspired me and is caused me to create the masterclass Reunion with the Dark Goddess. I have been watching this through a couple of moon cycles as I saw the asteroid Vesta making her way through Taurus towards a conjunction with Algol. You've been following me for a while. You know that Algol is the Lilith star. She stands for the demonized goddess. And I was doing some, well, I'll get back to that in a minute. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So right now they are less than a degree apart as of the full moon, the new moon. They are less than a degree apart. That conjunction is in effect. So I'm going to come back after I touch a couple of high points and talk more about what this means to me and what I think it can mean to you. But first, I want to look at the other conjunctions that are going on and the other aspects. So what have we got? Where are the other Liliths? I always look at the other Liliths. The asteroid Lilith at 27 Libra is in a sextile to the galactic center. That's a big aspect. That is lending a lot of force and energy towards Lilith, all of the Liliths. Oh, I said I was going to be here at 2:30. My calendar just told me. I wonder if that's a mistake. Oh, great. That means I'm early for once in my life. So Lilith, the asteroid Lilith, your inner personalized, disowned and hurting feminine wound is empowered. And that could look like, the first thing it can look like is something triggers it. You have a conversation, something happens, you see a headline, an old memory comes up. It could be anything will trigger this sense of, I am not good enough because I'm a woman. Or I have made so many mistakes, I should just roll over and quit. Or no one will ever love me. Or I don't love myself. I mean, how might that show up? Those things, shame, regret, pain, unworthiness, they could come up. And right now, if you are hearing my voice, know the gift in that it has been triggered so that you can see the big picture. You can do what you need to do to heal it. You can take what steps you need to take. Do you need help? Do you need support? Do you need a circle, a coach, a therapist, a talk? Do you need to have a difficult conversation with someone in your life? So whatever you need to do to heal that, it's here so you can see it and so you can take the necessary action. Setting boundaries, getting support. And number one, looking in the mirror and saying, it doesn't matter what happened, I am worthy. It doesn't matter how I feel about whatever happened, I am lovable. It doesn't matter how I was raised, I matter, I am important, and I will be okay, I am okay. So I just want you to recognize that this is an incredible healing window. And in order for that window to open, some shit might need to hit the fan. So just be ready. New moons can do that anyway. So, and also watching where that is living in your chart, your personal chart. So besides that, we have Magdalena, the feminine Christ consciousness, the feminine expression of Christ is in a conjunction now and moving closer, tighter to the North Node. And to be honest, I haven't given much thought to what that means. I just notice it and it feels important. This is the North Node at 16.5 Cancer, opposite Saturn, and which would then make Saturn conjunct the South Node. And when you've got a general reading like a new moon or full moon reading, that applies to the world. So you can use the information personally. Where is the North Node transiting in your personal chart? Where is Magdalena transiting in your personal chart? So just make note, North Node is destiny. And Magdalena, feminine Christ consciousness, is activating that with a very loving, compassionate, divine feminine energy, which is a fertile ground for growth. You can use that energy to take a step towards your destiny, whatever that might look like. Initiating some kind of change, receiving some new information, stepping away from something that isn't working for you anymore. All of those things can be quite terrifying, daunting, exciting. And if you find yourself stuck in a place at the moment where you don't know what that step ought to be, it'd be a good time to get a Desire and Destiny intensive with me. So just go to my website and look for that under the Work With Me tab. Happy to give you a link, or private message me and say, what was that thing you said about Desire and Destiny intensive? That sounds like what I need right now, and I will let you know what your next step is. So that's happening, and that is opposite Saturn. Saturn on the South Node can feel very fixed. That container of your fate, what you came in with, it can make things feel really hard to shift. It can make things feel like this is reality, and this is all I know, and this is where I feel safe, and this is the role that I am fated to play in the world, and all this destiny stuff is a fantasy. No, it's not. Saturn can actually give you the boot if you need him to, especially with Pluto so nearby. So Pluto and Caraclo have been dancing together for months and months, and they are not done yet. Pluto, the great transformer, death and rebirth. What needs to die? What's ready to be reborn? What's ready to shift? What's ready to transform? Something always is. And Caraclo has been with him during this really challenging Capricorn era, where we've had Pluto and Saturn and in all the things going on in Capricorn, the sign of government of all things. Caraclo has been there with her water energy, her healing energy, her herbal energy, saying, yes, this is tough right now. This is a necessary, difficult passage. You will come through it all right. And honestly, I think she needs some help, because a lot of her herbs are in the Amazon and elsewhere in the wilderness around the world. And we humans seem to think it is our destiny to destroy all that. So let's get behind Caraclo right now with our prayers, with our energy, with any other resources you're called to give, to make sure it is our work, and that's a part of what I'm coming around to on the next, when I get to Vesta and Algol. Our work is to wake ourselves up and then take the steps to help wake the earth up. It sounds big, but it all starts with inside. You start inside. So we're almost there. There's so much more I could talk about on here, but I will not, because it would be overwhelming. I have been watching the Black Moon Lilith Nessus conjunction that has been It's been slow. It's been a couple of moon cycles, and it's separating now. You could say it's almost over, except that Black Moon Lilith is so powerful. She is the feminine before patriarchy. That's how I see her. She is Lilith when she came from divine and was planted in the garden alongside Adam, first woman. And she has all of that creative energy. And she's a vast, huge vortex of feminine energy and creation. And so she has been sweeping by Nessus, and I believe she has picked up his energy and will carry it with her, at least into Aries, because Nessus is the planet for healing the legacy of abuse. And the key word is healing. When you're reading a chart and you look for Nessus, you say, Nessus, well, where did all that happen? Where is that living? How important is it? How many lifetimes back? Is it this lifetime? Is it current right now? You check all the aspects and you assess the Nessus energy in your life. And then you see where it's guiding you to heal. And there's always some message there. Depending on how intense it is, will depend on how important it is that you do that work this lifetime. You may have already done the work. You may have done the work last lifetime, so Nessus doesn't figure too hard. But for most of us, Nessus has a story to tell us about where we come from and how we can heal our history and our future. So Black Moon Lilith has been there with him in my birth sign of Pisces. So that's another reason for me to pay attention to it. It's saying to me personally, there are other things it could say, but it's in my first solar house. It's in the house where I need to do most of my personal healing work. So I'm taking that energy, and right now it's opposite the new moon and opposite Venus. And that opposition to Venus is, it's still going. It'll be a few days before that moves on by. So this new moon is a window of opportunity for activating your own personal Nessus work with the support of the Divine Feminine. Now there is so much else we could say, but I'm going to move on to the stars. The stars, the celebrities of this chart. They actually, speaking of celebrities, they're the highest of the, I'll show it to you. You see, there is Algol and Vesta. They're at the noonday sky. They're in the ninth house, but they are literally the highest position on this chart. So they are the celebrities. Vesta. I love these two. The demonized goddess Algol and Vesta. Let's talk about Vesta first. Vesta is the priestess. She is the one who keeps the sacred flame. She represents spiritual devotion. I've done a little bit of research on these two to get some new ideas and see what other astrologers have to say about them. And I ran into somebody online who said, Vesta's usually about work because of the devotion. Yes, she's about your spiritual work, your higher mission, your life purpose, the unique gift that you are to the world. And she represents what you do to tend the fire, what you do to build your power, your strength, your awareness, to hear and surrender to guidance, to know what it is you're supposed to do and how do you ask for help and what is your next step. So if she stands for work, she stands for that. She does not stand for getting to the job and getting to promotions, in my opinion. I think that is a misuse of her energy. The patriarchy would love that, but we don't do patriarchy, do we? So Vesta, she is the erotic flame, because the fire on our altar, the eternal flame of our spiritual energy, our mission and purpose, lives in our womb as women, and it has a corresponding place for men in the belly, in the prostate, in the hara. But for women, that altar is in the womb. And when I work with women privately or in my class, Sacred Pleasure, Sovereign Womb, I teach you how to access that, nurture, and tend it. And that's coming up in the near future, so keep your eyes open. So Vesta, the erotic flame, and yes, you feel it between your legs. It is desire. It is about sex. And it is about more than sex. It is about the higher purpose, the higher intention of, and the expanded truth about what our sexual energy is all about. So Vesta carries it. She literally carries it in her womb, as we all do. And her energy is incredibly powerful. When it shows up in your sex life or in your relationships, it can be not so subtle, because it's sex and relationships, and they can be intense, and they can really impact us and throw us for a loop, and they can have a lot of drama, and they can have a lot of joy and a lot of expression and this full embodiment. I was feeling into this today, and I have a feeling, because this conjunction with Algol has been building and applying now for a month. And I have a feeling that as she approaches Algol, the demon goddess, it's going to feel more subtle. And so it will be up to you to really tune into it and tap into the power. Work with your womb. Work with your pleasure. Do some sex meditation, orgasmic meditation, and tune in to that sacred flame. Okay, Algol. This star, in ancient times, the Hebrews called her the Lilith star. The Persians, the Greeks called her the Eye of Medusa, the Gorgon. This is the snake-headed woman who she displeased Athena, and Athena turned her into this monster, turned her hair into snakes, and made it so that any person she looked at turned to stone. And so she is feared, and she represents the powerful gaze of the feminine. And Medusa, she is wicked. She is a monster. None of the stories have anything good to say about Medusa. But I got to thinking about that one day. Medusa was a woman. She was the three sisters, the Gorgons. I don't think she was immortal, or maybe of the three, she was immortal. Sometimes immortality is a curse that the gods bestow. So what I was thinking about Medusa is, imagine for a minute that everything you looked at turned to stone. Imagine that the people in the street, if you were walking down the street and you looked at someone, they turned to stone. Your children, your pets, the hummingbirds would turn to stone and fall out of the air. The bees, the ground would be littered with bee gravel. Imagine your isolation. Imagine the pain. Imagine the rage that you were sentenced to this isolation, where people shunned you, feared you, plotted and wondered how to destroy you. and sent a hero out to kill you. Perseus. As we enter the fall, the Perseus and Medusa and Andromeda, these constellations are rising early in the evening. They are the stars of the autumn sky here in the Northern Hemisphere. So you'll be able to see Algol. She's not a terribly bright star, but you could get a star chart and pick her out, I think. So as patriarchy took over from the goddess, they made her a demon. They made Lilith a demon. They said they ran her out of Eden, and she went and consorted with the demons and devils and had 1,000 children every night, and they were doomed to die. That's another story of tragedy, of isolation. The story of Lilith. Lilith stands for rock solid integrity. Lilith was not kicked out of Eden. It took me a while to get that story, to hear that part of it. Lilith left Eden because she would not submit to Adam and be subservient to him. She refused. Nor would she submit to God and be subservient to him, because she knew her origins were divine. She knew she was the embodiment, literal form, of the feminine principle, the creatrix. And so when God and Adam teamed up and said, the goddess is evil, it's connected to the devil and Satan, and you, woman, must obey God and man and be subservient to them, Lilith left. And as I tell the story, I actually did a performance piece once about Lilith, and I told the story that she, it was rough. It was rough on her because she left and left the story to be told by the masculine. And therefore she came out looking like a demon. She'd stayed and written her own story. Well, it might have been a different story. That's the story that we are reclaiming. And this this conjunction, the tenderness, it's fierce, but it is tender, and it is powerful and compassionate. Self-compassionate is energy that Vesta brings to this moment, this reunion with the dark goddess, the goddess that has been demonized. She has been told to the people who adore her, the people she created, have been told she's the devil, she's evil, she's wicked. Leave her alone. Destroy her in your hearts. Destroy her idols and symbols. Cease the prayers and the celebrations and the festivals, and submit. Surrender your power. Surrender her power within you. This was told to them. And so she is out there. You know, this is an aspect, of course. This is because Magdalena is here, and Black Moon Lilith is here, and Venus is here, and they don't really have, they have that aspect, but they are not representative of it. Algol is carrying all of that demonizing for them. And she's coming back. And when she comes back, she strikes fear. She strikes fear in the patriarchy and the people who only know patriarchy. That would be most of us. And she can strike fear in us because she calls us to step up in a way that is absolutely terrifying, that feels risky. And she requires us to heal the parts of us that we have demonized. And so she triggers the Lilith asteroid, and she triggers Psyche, and she triggers the moon, and she triggers all the parts of us that feel like we would like to destroy them. We wish they weren't there. We can't trust them. So this is the opening. This is a magical moment where you can tune into Vesta, and through her, let her mediate for you the dark goddess energy, and let her illuminate for you where the dark goddess wants you to rise up inside. And just like as I talked about Lilith and the galactic center, this aspect may at first feel incredibly painful and frightening, because we have pushed it down, and when it comes up, it feels like strange and dangerous. And we have been taught our whole lives that good girls don't, or that's inappropriate or bad or evil or will be punished. Feels dangerous. But it's coming. It is absolutely necessary to visit this, to look at it with both eyes open, legs open, tits out, and discover what that means for you personally and how you are going to walk with it. So that is the work of this new moon. Hardly a wimpy moon at all. So you use it well. Use it well. And if Thursday afternoon, ahead of this new moon, I am doing the masterclass Reunion with the Dark Goddess. If you are not signed up for that yet, sign up. It's on Zoom. It's not on Facebook. So you will need to sign up so you can get the link and come and learn more about how to navigate this particular passage in your life. Thank you so much for being here. Please, if you feel like it, I would love it if you would share this video in your groups and with your friends on your walls, because other people need to hear it. The more people hear it, the better. And I appreciate you so much. Have a blessed new moon. Bye-bye.